What up, Ring Crew Army, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Square Circle Podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and on this episode of the Square Circle Podcast, I will just be continuing from when I left off of the last podcast episode that was supposed to be talking about Jay White versus Tanahashi in the New Japan Cup. It's titled Young Lions to Main Event Wrestlers with a Lurking Evil. I basically kept the hype going with David Finlay versus Jay White that we're going to get on March 18th and talked about Evil's backstage comments and how everything will fall into place and some fantasy booking, and did not get to the match that happened between Jay White and Tanahashi. So this episode is dedicated to that, and I will be providing my commentary analysis for that match. I hope you guys enjoy. If you do, make sure to share this podcast episode plus the video format that's going to come out on the YouTube side. Let wrestling promoters and wrestling companies know that Marie Shadows is definitely dedicated to providing commentary for wrestling matches and working her ass off to get there and be heard by the wrestling community. It takes a community to have someone like myself get noticed with the type of background that I have within the business. So your love, support, and shares help out a lot. So if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at Marie_Shadows so you can tag me in your Twitter posts to other promotions that I can definitely do a wonderful job in commentary. Now let's jump right into Jay White versus Tanahashi during the New Japan Cup of 2021. As you guys know, this year's New Japan Cup 2021 featured 30 participants. Each participant is a heavyweight competitor. This all leads to April 4th at Sakura Genesis. The winner of the New Japan Cup of 2021 will be facing Kota Ibushi for the Unified World Championship title that will be debuting on April 4th. And so Tanahashi had got himself a bye into the New Japan Cup, so he didn't have to face anyone in round one. Jay White did not get a bye, so he had to face Toa Henare in round one of the New Japan Cup, and then now he's facing Tanahashi in round two. In the backstage comments with Jay White, he kept mentioning to Tanahashi that he wanted him to lay down so that way he didn't have to work too hard, nor does Tanahashi have to work too hard, and both of them could go home without hurting way too much. Jay White's intent is that he wants to preserve not only his legacy within New Japan Pro Wrestling, because Jay White is a holder of the IWGP Intercontinental Championship title and also a holder of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title as well. And so is Tanahashi. Tanahashi held both of those titles. So Jay White really wants Tanahashi to lay down so that way he has enough strength to go on to round three, defeat the person in round three, and then defeat the person in the finals and go on to face Kota Ibushi for that unified title. So that way he can split the belt back into their original forms. So that way all legacies can be retained. Did Tanahashi listen? He thought about it, because the opening of this match between these two had everyone questioning whether or not Tanahashi was going to lay down. Jay is asking Tana to lie down. Tana does, to everyone's surprise. And then Jay turns his back and talks with Gato as if he can't believe that Tana's going to lie down and let him do this. So then Tama decides to do a roll-up, and that allows the referee to count to two before Jay kicks out, and that is when the match truly begins. Jay comes in with a swing and a miss, and Tanahashi comes in with a side headlock. Jay then pulls at Tanahashi's hair and brings Tana into the corner, kicks him and forearms, and then does an Irish whip to Tana. Jay then runs into an elbow by Tanahashi in the other corner, and Tanahashi goes up to the second rope to do a second rope crossbody. Tana then flexes to Gato. Gato gets scared, flexes also to Jay, and Jay rolls out, creating some distance and some breather between the two. The crowd is behind Tanahashi, even Tsuji. And this is where that wholesome psychology plays with Jay White. Jay White has been bullying the young lions and trying to make them cheer him and praise him and want them to see him as the inspiration that they see Tanahashi. He wants the young lions to respect his word and him being their senpai. But every one of those young lions, Tsuji, Yuya, and Gabe, have not listened to him, have done what he says, but they have to do it with a smile. And then half the time they get beat up or they get talking to, and it's just really out of control. The only good thing about this interaction is that Jay White allows you to learn who they are and you grow an attachment to them. I really do think that the young lions of Tsuji, Yuya, and Gabriel Kidd are really ready to branch out on their own. They're ready to graduate. They're ready to get some victories under their belts. They have been really working hard, and they have been a gem on the New Japan Road 2 series and even the big shows that they have. And they've been a great asset to helping out the roster and doing what they need to do. So Jay White sees that Tsuji is in praise of Tanahashi. So as Tana prepares for an over-the-top rope move, both Jay and Gato move out the way. Tana then flexes, and this is where Jay pounces on Tsuji. Tana comes in for the rescue. However, Jay sends Tana into the barricade on the other side with some forearms. Jay goes back to attacking Tsuji and then attacks Gabe, sending them both into the barricades. Jay sends Tana back first into the barricade 3 times and then poses in the ring. When Tana gets back into the ring, he stomps on Tana's face, tries to go in for a cover, but Red Shoes is not counting that at all. Jay gets up into Red Shoes' face and then goes back to Tanahashi to do a backbreaker to him. And then this is when Red Shoes decides to count, and Tana kicks out at 2. Jay White then goes for a single leg Boston Crab on Tanahashi, and Tanahashi gets to the rope. Attempted snapmare by Jay, but Tanahashi hits Jay's midsection. That brings Jay down to a knee, but Jay still has hold of the headlock, and then eventually does the snapmare into a chin lock and drives his knee into the middle of Tanahashi's back. Jay comes in with a kick to Tana's stomach, then the abdominal stretch, and Jay has a little fun at pulling at Tanahashi's love handles. Tana then manages to do a hip toss to Jay White. Tana then comes in with a double drop kick to Jay's leg. Tana is now in control with some body shots over to Jay, pushes him off into the ropes. Jay reverses, but Tana knocks Jay down with a jumpy forearm, a body slam, and then Jay smartly rolls away so that way Tana cannot do his top rope move. However, Tana comes in with the dragon screw, and that allows Jay to roll back into position for Tanahashi to deliver a second rope senton, and Tanahashi goes for the cover on Jay. Jay grabs the ropes so that way the referee can stop counting. There is a stand and switch by Jay and Tana until Jay White grabs the hair and DDTs Tanahashi. Jay then goes in with a strong running European uppercut into Tanahashi, and that allows him to apply the Blade Buster and goes for a cover, but Tanahashi kicks out at 2. Jay then tries to go for a Uranagi, but Tanahashi blocks out all of his might. Jay tries to weaken Tanahashi's core with some knee strikes as both men attempt a dragon screw while having an exchange of forearm attacks. Body shots by Jay and then body shots by Tana. Jay comes in with the flatliner and then the deadlift German combination to Tanahashi. Jay then goes for a cover and Tanahashi kicks out. Jay now tries to go for the Uranagi. Tanahashi fights again, but Jay pulls Tanahashi down by the hair and then throws Tanahashi over the rope, only for Tanahashi to come back up with skinning the cat. Jay catches Tanahashi with the Uranagi. After that, Jay White then goes for a cover and Tanahashi kicks out at 2. Jay White then attempts to do the Kiwi Crusher, but Tanahashi reverses and does the twist and shout, which is a spinning neck breaker to Jay White. And Tanahashi goes over to Jay White, who is now on the ring apron. He pulls him up and Jay White is able to do a dragon screw to Tanahashi, which sends him back into the ring. Jay slowly gets back into the ring himself, and here comes Tanahashi with a dragon screw of his own. Jay does multiple forearms to Tanahashi decides to knock out Jay's other leg and a dragon screw to Jay as well. Then Tanahashi applies the cloverleaf to Jay White, and Jay manages to get to the ropes for a rope break. Tana then counters Jay White's Blade Runner with a twisting sling blade. Gato gets on the apron and distracts, and this allows Tanahashi to do a dragon screw on Gato. Then Tana comes in with another sling blade to Jay White. Jay kicks out of the cover at 2. Tana goes for a top rope move and Jay knocks Tana down. Jay then tries to capitalize on Tanahashi by doing the Blade Runner. Jay then tries to capitalize on Tanahashi being down by doing the Blade Runner, but Tanahashi counters that with a straight jacket German suplex and does a bridge pin combination to Jay. Jay manages to kick out at 2. Tanahashi then tries to attempt a dragon suplex on Jay White, but Jay White uses all of his strength to break the full Nelson hold and Tanahashi's grip. And after Jay White breaks that hold, Tanahashi tries to go for a cloverleaf, but Jay White rakes the eyes of Tanahashi and does an inside cradle to Tanahashi. Tanahashi then kicks out of that attempted pin. After that, Jay White goes for an attempted Blade Runner, but it gets reversed into a small package by Tanahashi, and Jay White kicks out of that pinning combination as well. Tanahashi then slaps Jay White, and the Blade Runner is again blocked by a dragon screw from Tanahashi. And Tanahashi tries again for another dragon screw on Jay White. However, this time around, Jay White blocks it and picks up Tanahashi, gets him prepared for the Blade Runner, and delivers the Blade Runner on Tanahashi. Goes for the cover 1, 2, 3, and Jay White wins and he advances to the next round. Jay White did have some post-match comments and also backstage comments. So the post-match comments within the ring was basically him trying to get the Young Lions over onto his side so that way they can see him as an inspiration. And then talking about the rest of the New Japan Cup and how Kota Ibushi is a crazy man, and he's been saying this, and his whole goal is that when he gets to the finals and when he gets to face Kota Ibushi and take that unified belt off of him, he is going to request from Shigebayashi-san that the belt needs to be split back so that way he can retain his legacy. I've repeated everything that he said before in multiple podcast episodes. So if you guys want to go back into the backlog and listen to those, I highly suggest it. And I go in depth into his next match, him versus David Finlay on March 18th, which will be an amazing match. And this match has a lot at stake here. In their rivalry, David Finlay has one upset victory over Jay White. Jay White has a total of 12 victories. March 18th will determine if Jay White gets 13 victories over David Finlay, or David Finlay gets the upset victory and eliminates King Switch from the New Japan Cup and have 2 victories under his belt. It is going to be an amazing match. I hope you guys really watch it. And if you guys don't have a subscription to New Japan World, I highly suggest you get one for this match. It is definitely going to be a contender for match of the month of March and also probably match of the year. Who knows? But whenever Jay White and David Finlay get into a wrestling ring, they have such amazing chemistry and amazing storytelling. And no 2 matches that they had in the past is the same. They might have the same thought pattern to try the same tactics that they once did in the other singles matches and bring it on to the current match. But these 2 men think a lot more differently when they wrestle now because of how their paths have gone and how they've been training. So we will see what happens come March 18th. I am definitely excited for it. And you guys should definitely go check out the other podcast episode that goes in depth into their match and then also makes you guys think about Evil's backstage comments, because Evil's backstage comments on the March 16th show for New Japan World got me left with a lot more questions than answers. And you guys should highly check that out. the backstage comments from Jay White were just a little bit more explanation on what's going to be happening. The funny thing is that he had Yuya and Gabriel Kidd make a seat for him, and they're holding him up while he's giving this promo to the world. And Jay White is the best when it comes to him being charismatic and also letting us know who the Young Lions are. And I appreciate that. People might see him as a bully to the Young Lions, but if you really look below the surface level, we get to know who they are other than them wrestling in the matches on the New Japan card. So it works out either way. Jay White is a very smart man. Jay White is a very good wrestler. And I have no doubt in my mind that Jay White is going to go to the finals and he's going to face Kota Ibushi. This is the new J-Pan Cup of 2021. I breathe with a switchblade, and so should you. And if you enjoy this analysis and the commentary of this podcast episode that talked about Jay White versus Tanahashi, make sure to show us some love. And the way you can show us some love is by heading over to anchor.fm/Square Circle Podcast. The good thing about Anchor is that you can leave me a voice message with your thoughts on this podcast episode. If you want to watch the video version of this, head over to youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast and make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. Drop me a like and definitely drop me a comment with your thoughts on this podcast episode. And if you want to take the conversation further on Twitter, make sure to @me, @Marie_Shadows. And ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to an episode of the Square Circle Podcast. I am your host, Marie Shadows, and I'll see you guys on the next one.